Hi, I'm Manny, and it's going steady on the Cottontail VA piece. I actually had a little bit of trouble drawing that flower question mark that she has on her head because I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it's a flower, but on the 3D model reference I got, I couldn't really make out exactly what it was supposed to be, so I just guessed it was a flower and drew accordingly. Another thing I've been because I want to make her look soft, right? Soft, but not necessarily like chubby. Because again, I'm drawing technically a character, but I feel that there is this link between the character and the person, and I don't want to offend the character and therefore offend the person. So I do want her to be kind of like thicky and soft, but not necessarily, too chubby or out of shape. And I think I'm getting there because if you look at her body, she does look soft, she does look thicky, but it still kind of has that sort of structure you would expect in a body type that's been toned, not like tightened, but definitely worked on. And another thing that I've mentioned previously is the chin. Because she is leaning back, she is pushing her chin a bit up against her neck, and it creates this fold that even if you're not a person who is like overweight or something, it still does create that bit of a chubby connection between the neck and the chin. And I wanted to portray that, but I didn't want it to be unflattering, right? She still has to be like sexy and lean, not necessarily skinny, but definitely lean. Another thing is, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, voice crack. Another thing is the pose that. So I use a reference picture to reference the pose and the body type. But the thing is, in the actual image, there's not a lot of lighting information on her body if you grayscale it. So I've had to take a lot of creative liberties in terms of showing, the shapes and the planes of her form shifting and blending into each other. And another thing in regards to that is the hand specifically, because in the reference picture, her hand is not in that position. And you're going to see me redraw the hand into the position that the model in the picture is actually doing. And speaking of the hand, you're going to see me do a little bit of a tricking around, like messing around with the hand, because I'm gonna make a layer, redraw the hand, then draw the hand again in another layer, and then place it, and then erase on the layer where the actual character is, and then paste that newly drawn hand onto the like it's a whole mess of like tricky, sort of messing around with settings and tools in order to fix the fact that I redid the hand completely. Speaking of which, the panties was another thing I had to mess around a lot with, like different layers and merging and erasing, because I wanted the panties to be reminiscent of the designs of the clothing on her model. So we're talking like kind of gothic emo designs with. Yep, you see me right here doing the hand, which I'm going to have a lot of trouble placing and making it look natural. But I think I'm going to give it a chance and shade it so to see if it actually looks natural when fully shaded, because in this particular position the hand looks a bit like wonky, like it looks like it shouldn't be able to move in that position, but it's a matter of perspective. So I'm gonna wait till I render it out to see if it actually can look natural. Going back to the panties, yeah, I wanted the panties to have like little like Lolita ruffles and nice little like designs, like I said, to evoke the feel of the visuals of the actual model's clothing. In case you're wondering about the reference, a lot of the reference pictures that I use specifically for the pose are explicit, I will say. Yeah, explicit. because f- having seeing the naked figure makes it a lot easier to like put the clothes and all the stuff on top of that. Like it gives you a greater understanding of how things would look rather than instead somebody who's actually wearing something and doing the pose and you're like, "Okay, but how would this shirt or this particular accessory work on that form?" And you can't see it because I mean, maybe it's different for people who can imagine things, but my mind's eye is kind of blind. So for me, seeing a naked person in the pose I want makes it a hell of a lot easier to work like a character or an accessory or something into that particular composition. And finding a picture that gives me exactly what I want in terms of subject and composition for reference is usually one of the hardest parts of the entire process for me because I have a very specific desire to bring across visually, but I don't get like a picture in my mind and I'm like, ah, I just need reference to help me figure that out. No, for me, it's more of a I want to draw this character or this person or this in specific. And then I sort of find references that help me put together an idea of what I want, but I can't see it visually in my mind. So I just find the references and then as I'm drawing, I'm working it out, figuring it out visually. Like basically the canvas is my imagination because I don't see anything like inside my head. Which, when I think about it, is another reason why art is so important to me. Because for people, they play these movies in their head and come up with all these wonderful things. But for me, it's kind of visually empty in there. So art gives me the opportunity to have, in a way, a visual imagination and come up with these things and create them, but it isn't just, oh, I had an idea, but also I had to put effort into that idea being real to me visually. Looking back at this, I think I'm gonna have to fix her right leg, not the one that's bent up, but the other one that's kind of going forward into the camera and then out of the canvas. Because I think I made it a little bit too thick near the bottom. But anyway, I think that's all the yapping I've got for today. I'm gonna finish the line art and hopefully get the hair done, and then I can start really detailing the body. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's all the yapping I've got for today, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.